Hi, Ipsita. Good morning. Welcome to the session. Yeah, let's start. First, we'll log into AWS console. Okay, we have been talking about AWS migration services, and let's do hands-on on it. We will migrate a server. Let me go to AWS Migration Hub. So here we can bring in our servers. Let us look into AWS docs, AWS server migration. Say requirements. Okay, these are the requirements. All VMs, Windows VMs. Ubuntu, Red Hat, Enterprise Linux, SUSE Linux, all these things can be allowed. You can migrate into AWS. Okay, let's go and start. So we will try to create a Ubuntu, and Ubuntu has to be 64-bit, and all these versions are supported 12 to 80. And if it is Windows, both 32 and 64-bit, and all these server versions, Windows 7, 8, 10, you can migrate into AWS. Suppose you are maintaining your server on-prem. Now, if you want to migrate to AWS, yes, we can do that. Let us create a virtual box and see from my VM, I can boot into AWS. Let us go to my virtual box. I have Windows 10 and Ubuntu here, but Ubuntu, this distribution, this one is Ubuntu 20. So just now I have looked into the requirement, and we need Ubuntu supported versions are from Ubuntu 12 to Ubuntu 18, right? So let's create a new here. Before that, I'll the tabs. Ubuntu. 20 is latest one, but we need 18 or below versions. Let's say Ubuntu 14 Enterprise. Let's go back. Ubuntu 14 ISO. we need ISO file. So here uh, we should download uh, iOS file. Sorry, not iOS, ISO file. Okay, we have this Ubuntu 14 desktop dot Mac ISO. Let us download this. I have downloaded 20. I tried with 20, but it not worked for me. Why? Because just I went through the documentation. That's why I have gone through this documentation, and we have seen the supported versions are from 12 to 18. I already tried to migrate my Ubuntu 20 version. It is not working. So then have gone through this documentation. It has to be 18 or below. So now let's go here. I am using this virtual box, VMware virtual box. Install this VMware PlayStation. For this lab, I recommend this VMware PlayStation or virtual box. More or less both are same. This one, Oracle VM virtual box or VMware PlayStation. You can use any one of this. Yeah, VMware workstation, sorry, not PlayStation, VMware workstation player. So you can use either this one or this one. And I am using VMware virtual box. You can see this is VMware virtual box. Let me go here. And now how to launch a virtual machine in your virtual box. First, we will see Ubuntu. I'll go here. Download Ubuntu, this one. Ubuntu 14 desktop AMD 64.ISO. It has to be 64-bit and it has to be less than 18. More than 12, version has to be more than 12, less than 18. So let us copy this. Download this. Meanwhile, I'll go to my virtual box and will create a new one. I'll name it as Ubuntu 14. This is like our server. Suppose this is our virtual machine I am launching. It's going to be my on-prem servers. Let us consider it as an on-prem server. We are not going to launch server application in it. Let's say this is a virtual machine. This is my server which on-prem. Now I want to migrate it to AWS. and type Linux, Ubuntu 64-bit. Type is Linux, and next name you can give anything. Create a virtual hard disk now. Yes, create. Keep it as VDI only. Next, virtual box disk image. You can go for fixed sized, and then next, create. Okay, Ubuntu 14 has been created. So by default, I have two files here. Let us close this. So in the drop down, I can see Ubuntu 20 version and then Windows 10. Don't want this to boot up this virtual machine. So let me close this. Go to settings. Here storage, and now we want to boot it up with Ubuntu 14 VDI. Name ID. Once it's done, let me check. Yeah, I have downloaded Ubuntu 14 desktop version. And now let's go. Let's go to VirtualBox. What I have done, go to settings, and now I need to boot up this virtual machine. Uh, the virtual machine which I am going to run on VMware VirtualBox with Ubuntu 14, but it's not available. I have downloaded it. I can write here how I should go into settings, and in the settings, storage, go here. Disk is empty right now. Let us write. This is like if you can compare this to boot up any operating system in a computer. We used to use CD-ROMs previously. If you remember the time where we used to have desktops, we used to boot up operating system after buying the computer. These days we are getting OS along with our laptops. uh, but when there is a era of desktop, we used to boot up our computers and also laptops. And even now, if you face some issue with laptop, if your OS got crashed, you again install the OS, right? And previously, we used to have these discs CDs. So you can consider the thing which we are doing in the virtual box like that. So this is like a CD, and we are writing Ubuntu 14 into this disk. That means we are booting up whatever OS is there in the disk. The virtual box, the virtual machine will be booted up with that OS. Let us use this. Choose a disk file from downloads. I have this. Yeah, we have chosen this. Now you can see Ubuntu 14 desktop. Okay. Now we will start this Ubuntu 14. It's running. So automatically it's getting booted up. We have written that copied Ubuntu 14 version into the disk. Now it's copying up, booting up. Okay, install Ubuntu. 6.4 GB available drive space. Okay, continue. Okay, install now. Continue. Keyboard layout. So here it's asking username. Let us call it as 360 digit mg user. That is the computer's name. And username also we will say the same, 360 digit mg. Must should start with lowercase letter. Let us say digit mg then. Here also let's use digit mg. And your name. Let's say admin. Admin digit mg password. Okay, continue. It's installing the system. Meanwhile, what we will do is we'll go. Let's wait. I think it's happening quickly only. Okay, takes some time. Meanwhile, let's go to AWS. EC2. And here we need to do few things on AWS. I have this document. And we will also refer to AWS docs, VM import export. I'll share this. You can go through that. Go through this document. And the same things are there. This is the AWS document. Let me open my document. Okay. This is the same instructions given in AWS docs. You can go through this, but it is better to follow AWS docs also. Why? Because they will be keep on changing the versions. If there is any version change something, the latest one will be updated in the AWS docs. Or you can also follow the document this which I'm going to share with you. Let me share. I'm sharing this link in the chat box. It will be helpful when you are doing lab. So now let's talk. I'll go to my virtual box and check the status once. Installation is complete. Need to restart. Restart now. Okay. This one is there here. This is, let's consider this as our virtual server or server which we are maintaining on-prem, and it's running in virtual box, and I can migrate this to AWS. So it's here. Let me close this. Okay. And what I need to do is, after switching it off, I'll export it. Go to file, and here export appliance is there, and we will export it to here we'll choose open visualization format 2. Here we'll say include all MAC addresses. Yeah, export. So it's getting exported. Exported means exporting disk image to Ubuntu 14.vmdk file. And to upload to AWS, we need .vmdk file. This is the VSI file. So now we are exporting it to .vmdk. So converting, like how we convert our Word to PDFs, the same thing. The existing Ubuntu is .vsi file. It's a image file, and we are making it as .vmdk file. So I need to upload this image in the S3 bucket. So let us go to EC2 instance, and also we'll go through this document once. Okay. So here you can import VM import and export to import virtual machines, and then they are converted into images. and from that images you can launch EC2 instances. That's how you can migrate your servers to AWS. So import export to VM virtual machines to AWS. AWS converts them into images, AMIs, and using that AMIs you can launch EC2 instances. That's how migration is going to happen regarding the servers. And then let us look into the prerequisites. Prerequisites, we need a S3 bucket, and then IAM role named as VM import, and we also require this service role. We'll come to this later. So we need these two things. Let us create these two things. We need a S3 bucket, and also we need IAM role, and also CLI. Three things. First thing, S3 bucket. I'll go and create one S3 bucket. Okay, let us call this bucket. Let us say create bucket and call this bucket like AWS migration or server AWS. Server migration. I don't know whether it allows special characters or not. Let us not use any demo server migration. Let's call this as the bucket name. And region, we are creating this bucket in Mumbai region. And rest of the things you can keep as is and say create bucket. See, our demo server migration bucket is there, and we need to upload the .dmk file here. So let's go and check. Seems like it's done. Conversion export is done, and let me go and check in recent. Let's go here and check. I am not sure about the path. So let's go. Export appliance to documents Ubuntu 14. The name will be some Ubuntu 14. Let's export appliance one more time. Let's change the format to OVF and include all MAC addresses and open virtualization format 2 and let us create in this path home Innodatatics and let's go here. Some reason it's not responding. Okay, let's start. So I'll export. Export means I'm converting. Export appliance. Say choose some other path. Let us see. Let's see. Let us also make it as OVF format, or we can use .ova only. Here the format has to be 2.0 and then export. Okay. It takes some time. Meanwhile, we will go again here. We have created S3 bucket. What else we need? We require a service role, a IAM role named VM import, and it needs a service role with all these permissions. So let's go and create a IAM role with the name VM import. Let's go. We will come back and upload the .vmdk file here. Meanwhile, I'll go here. IAM. And with the name VM import, I have already added one IAM rule. Let us use the name as VM import only. So I'll go to VM import. We need to create a role, right? Go to role. I have already created this role called as VM import. Let's say create role. And you have to choose EC2. Next permissions. Here, skip the permissions. We will talk about this later. Next review. And the role name is VM import. I already have this VM import role. Let's go to that VM import role. VM import. And now let us add policies and permissions to this VM import role. The first thing is trust relationship. Let's say edit trust relationship. I'll delete this. You'll be having something here. Delete that. Delete that trust relationship which you have, and copy paste either from the document. So where I have gone under prerequisites, I here required service role. I have gone here, and you can see the trust policy. We need this. Copy this and paste it as is. You can copy it from here or from this document. So trust policy. Here, if you're using some other name, it is better to use the same name VM import. If you are using some other name, use the role name here. The role name has to be VM import. Otherwise, you can also use some other names. Let's go here. Paste. Trust relationship. So we are saying that allow, this is the role. We are trusting this role, allowing this effect to service VMIE dot a Amazon AWS.com through the role called as VM import. VMIE is an virtual import export. VMIE stands for virtual machine import export dot Amazon AWS.com. So this is a different service, and we are creating a trust relationship with this service. This is AWS migration server migration service called as VMIE, virtual machine import export service. So to make a trust between two services, we are creating this trust relationship, and VM import is the role name. So update trust policy. So after giving this trust relationship, we will update permissions, that is policies, attach policies, create policy. Here also in the same document we have user policy, I am policy. Here I have to come back here under requirements only. Okay, let's go back. So here upload image to Amazon S3, prerequisites, required service role. Service role is there. This is JSON policy. Okay, this has to be our policy. This is the policy. And we have the same thing here. Create IAM role for VM import. So this is policy and this is trust policy. This is permission or our role policy. Copy paste this. Either you can use this or this. Anyone is fine. But here, don't go with this. So it's better to go with our document here. From here onwards, echo is not required. Okay, let me copy this. So come here. I am management console. Paste it. And here I have to give the S3 bucket ARN or S3 bucket name, where I am going to upload the image file or VM file. Let's go and check the bucket name. And we have created this demo server migration. That is our bucket name. So here, copy name, demo server migration is the bucket name. And come to here. Not here, sir, to the Amazon console itself here. And give the bucket name. So what we are saying, we are creating a policy for the S3 access and also for EC2 modification to copy snapshot, etc. We are creating a policy and assigning to this role. Let us call this as, okay, I already have this policy, so I'll not create one more policy. It will be a bit confusing. I'll go to roles and will show you the policy. So you have to edit the policy and create the policy like that. And role name is VM import. And you can name policy as VM policy, or you can give any other name. I have already assigned VM policy here. And along with VM policy, I have also given administrative access. So edit policy. This is the same policy. Of course, I have used the bucket name. This is a different bucket name. Let us change the bucket name here. And review policy. Save changes. Done. And I'll go here, check for this export. Ubuntu 14.ova. But we don't want this extension. We want .vmdk file, but we don't want this. Let us export one more time. Okay, and then virtualization format is to export. Okay, just give me a minute, guess. Yeah. Okay, sorry for that. Actually, the file format has to be .vmdk. You can also try with .ova file, but let's use .vmdk one. That is a more accurate one. .vmdk file. So let's go. This is a different vmdk file. Documents. Yeah, here we have this. Just now we have converted it into .vmdk file, and I'll upload it into S3 bucket. And let's also look into the policy. Yeah, I have given the, yeah, given the bucket name here, review policy. And save changes. And also let's go to S3 and also provide administrator access to this role. Trust relationship. So not here, we will create a user and give administrator access to the user. So edit trust relationships, update trust policy, and then under permissions, we have VM import policy, and this is the VM import policy. Edit policy. And now we will upload file into S3 bucket. Go to S3. Already S3 is here in this tab, upload. This file. Uploading it takes around 4 minutes. So meanwhile, we will go here, what we have done. So first things, for import, we need S3 bucket, S3 bucket which has VMDK file. Now we are uploading, getting uploaded into S3. And then we need a IAM role named VM import. And it should have a required service roles. And what are those required service roles? One is trusted policy. We have attached trusted policy. And then this policy. We have also given this policy. So this policy I have not copied from here because it's using two buckets for disk image file and export file. That means this is import file, this is export file, but we don't actually need two different buckets. So you can skip this part. You can skip this part. Actually, you can skip this entire part from here to here. So after this, you are allowing these things. So the same policy we have given for our role. So our role has two things now. We have created a role with VM name as VM import. Yeah, VM import, and we have given trusted policy and also this one, this policy. So done, two things are done. Let us go back. After giving required service roles, the third thing is we should have AWS CLI. We already discussed about AWS CLI. Open terminal and say AWS configure. Yes, here we are at our CLI. So to log into CLI, we need a user credentials, secret access key ID, all these things, right? So let's go and create a user. I'll check S3 once. Still uploading is happening. Meanwhile, I'll go create a user. Without user, you cannot use CLI. So we need a user. Let's go to IAM dashboard. IAM create user. Add users. Username. Let's say .360 user. And then access type, let's give programmatic access. Next, permissions. Let us attach existing policies. We will give administrator access as well as according to this document. You go again here, prerequisites. If you go to required service role, and these are the IAM user permissions. So list all, by default, administrator access will have all the permission. So no need of explicitly mentioning this. Either give administrator access or give this policies. Anyone. You can use anyone. Let me also copy this, but you can use anyone. Administrator access or this policy, required permissions for IAMs, because there are so many policies, it might be a bit confusing. So you can skip this and assign the administrator policies to the user, because administrator user is like a root user. Or the actual procedure is you have to allow a user to have permissions to S3 EC2 only. That's what this policy is all about. We are granting permission to S3 EC2. Or you can just give administrator access. Let's go to IAM console. I have given administrator access anyway. Next tags, create user. So download.csv, close. And at this point of time, I'll go to 360 user and generate policy here. Instead, we will add it as an inline policy. This one. Okay, and here we have to give the bucket name. So instead of this policy, you can just give administrative access or give this policy. Anyone is fine. This is our bucket name now, demo server migration. That's it. And review policy. Policy name. Let us call it as see, I have given administrator access as well as policy, but any one is enough. So if you are getting any issues with the policy, then just give administrator access, which has all the permissions. Okay, and then let us go and log in with the console. Folder. Let me copy access key ID and secret access key. Default region is AP South 1 and the output is basic. Yeah, now I have logged into the console. And next thing, after logging into the console, what we are going to do is check check the migration process. Let's go here. So we have attached policy VM import. We have done all these things. So here I'm using Ubuntu, but the document which I have shared with you have CentOS, but no problem. And now we want to begin import. So attach policy, we have done this, we have created and attached the policy. This is done. Now we are importing. Right, for this we will use a container. Let's go and use this. Create a container which has this S3 bucket. Simply we are creating a image, a container based image. We already know what container is, so let us create a document called as container.json, and where this container JSON has to be there on your laptop. Okay, no need of echo, all these things. I'm editing. Yep. And then let's go and create an container.json file. Open your text edit. You open text edit, copy the code and make changes. Save it as container.json. I already have container.json, so I'm editing this. It has to be like this. Ubuntu. It has opened up in RStudio. Let me close this. Here. Under description, give the name. So let us call it as Ubuntu 14. And then format is VMDK. We know this, we already discussed. And the bucket name is demo server migration. Let us come to the .json file, container.json file, and I'll provide that information here. And the S3 key is nothing but the name of .vmdk which you have uploaded in S3. Let's go to S3. So this name, Ubuntu 14, write this name, Ubuntu 14, disk 001. In my case, this is the name. Copy and come here. Control V. Yeah, it's done. Save. So after saving, we need to look into the path also. So container.json's path is home innodatatics/desktop. Okay. Let's look into the path, and that is the path. And now what we have to do is we want to provide this in our CLI. This is what we are doing now. Now actual migration happens. So now we have provisioned everything. We have created a S3 bucket. We have created role. We have created user. Using the user, I have logged into my console, and user has administrator access. If not administrator access, user should have that policy, either policy or administrator access. Anyway, I have assigned both. Now I have logged in as a user with who has permissions. And now what we are going to do is we are going to provide this container.json file which has information It has description, format, bucket name, all these things. Now what CLI will do, from CLI you are sending this JSON file to AWS. AWS will look into it and check the S3 bucket and creates image based on this VMDK file. That's what we are going to do. So when we upload, it's like a sending container.json through our CLI to AWS, and AWS from the CLI, from the JSON document container.json picks up S3 bucket name and S3 key. And what is this S3 key? S3 key is a Ubuntu OS file, Ubuntu image, and AWS will create AMI using this. And using that AMI, you can launch EC2 instance. That's how your migration will happen. So when you create a VMDK file, I have just added a Ubuntu 14 version and have taken VMDK file. In real life scenarios, what people will do, it's their on-prem servers. It will have all the applications, etc. When they take .vmdk file, that file also contains same. This is like your local image. We have talked about AMIs, right, on the cloud. So this is like local image. So AMI is Amazon Mission Image on cloud. So this is like local image, a VMDK copy of your Ubuntu virtual machine. It will have all the data, etc., that is there on your Ubuntu machine. So now we are uploading it in the S3 bucket, and now we are creating container.json which has S3 details. So what happens? It will pick up this. It will look into this and pick up details from the S3 and create an image. So let's go and refer to this. So now the actual import happens. So this is the command. Paste. So we are importing EC2 image, and the name has to be the same which you gave in description. Which description? This description. It's Ubuntu 14. The name given is Ubuntu 14. So let's go and change it to Ubuntu 14. And then we have disk containers. Here we should provide the path of containers.json file. Let us look here. Home Innodatatics desktop. That is the path, right? So let's go and give the path in front of it. Name is container.json. It's not containers.json. And also here, coming to location, Innodatatics, and then I have desktop in the path, and then container.json. Yeah, if everything is fine, it says unable to load param file. Okay. Anyway, we are an Innodatatics path, so no need to give home, etc. So let us delete those things because we are already in Innodatatics path. And now it's working. So it's fetching all the details, description Ubuntu 14. This is import AMI, the AMI which I am importing. And this is the AMI, and then description format is VM DKS3 bucket, all these things. Done. We have this is our import AMI given by AWS. So let's copy this import AMI. So after import is successfully done, we will check the status. So let's go here for CLI, right? Paste it here. Control C doesn't work here on the CLI. And instead of this AMI, we should give our import AMI. So using this AMI, I can create EC2 instances. It's getting created. Once it's done, once that image is ready, I can go and launch EC2 instance. It seems like the format is wrong. Just copy this once again. The CLI, put it there. And instead of this AMI, we will give our AMI, our import AMI. Using this AMI, once this AMI is ready, we can launch our servers here. Okay, I'm not able to edit here in the terminal. Let us open text edit. Okay, this is our AMI ID, and what we have to do is we have to give this command. AWS easy to describe this thing. Status of our AMI. Let's go here. Text edit. And instead of this AMI, I need to give our AMI. And copy this. Yeah, status is active, and then it's not complete yet. Status is active, And we cannot see it as your status is completed. Demo server migration, but key status is active. Let's go and check in AMIs. Go to EC2. It will not be here. So let's go to launch instance. Choose AMI. Yeah, see this AMI is available. So what is this AMI? AMI which we have imported from our server. We have created out of our server. Okay, no results were found. Not found, but let's see here. Status is active only here. The status message is still booting. So once it's completed, we'll go and check. Status message, once it's completed, we will go and launch EC2 instance. It takes some time for migration until it become, we have to wait for some time. Still it's in booting process. So let's try once again. It seems like I have logged out of CLI. Same access key ID, secret access key, region, all the things. So here in the document, there is, see after this, you should get status as completed. So we are not getting the status completed. It has taken snapshot. Snapshot is completed, but it has to take AMI. Let's look into the snapshot. Snapshot ID is this one. Let's go to snapshot. See here, it has created this one import. So it's done. Let me look into snapshot. So all these snapshots from VMI import service, right? We have created an image. See image, import AMI image, import AMI image. We are importing this AMI image, and it automatically launches the instance also. Okay, I think we need to launch the instance. Now let's launch the instance. Or we can go to AMI and launch instance from here itself. So this is the AMI which I have imported from my on-prem virtual machine, Ubuntu virtual machine. Let's say actions, launch, next configure instance details, add storage by default 10 GB, security group, by default it is SSH, review and launch. Let me look into downloads. Keypair which I have is Mumbai-keypair.py. So go here. I have this. And launch instance. New instance. See, instance is getting created. So let me walk through the procedure once meanwhile. What we have done is we have first let's go to our virtual machine manager. So this is Oracle VM VirtualBox. You can download it, and then we have created a new VirtualBox. And we have downloaded Ubuntu 14 separately, and we have booted this virtual machine with Ubuntu 14. And why? Because we want one virtual image to see how migration works. So that's why we have taken Ubuntu 14 virtual machine image here. In real-time scenarios, these are the servers, people who have on-prem servers or on-prem virtual machines, any on-prem virtual machine. So they can migrate to AWS. And the procedure is first you need to convert your virtual machine file into .vmdk file. So we have done it. We have exported into vmdk file. This part is done. Then we will go to cloud, and I need S3 bucket, right? The cloud has to read the details of that vmdk file. So we have created a S3 bucket and given all the details in the S3 bucket. Uploaded in the S3 bucket. Let me put all together in map. Okay, server migration. First step, you need the .vmdk file. Export .vmdk file where in VirtualBox or VMware Workstation. Second step, what we need to do, upload vmdk file in S3 bucket. And third, create IAM role with trust policy and also uh, uh, permission, right? Role policy. So the name of this role has to be, I am role has to be VM import. VM import, and then trust policy, and then VM policy. VM import policy, we have named it like VM import policy. You can get this policy in the document or from the documentation. So after having this VM import policy, create a user, because we need to use CLI here. User, either you can use give administrative access or user policy from documentation. And don't forget here, in each policy, in each role, you should make the changes. You should give the S3 policy name, S3 bucket name. So after this, fifth step is create container.json file. Why? Because this is a container service. This container.json contains the details of S3 bucket and all. And by looking into this container.json, AWS will look into the related S3 bucket, will get and create an AMI. It creates an AMI. And check status of AMI. And once AMI is launched, launch instance using that AMI. We have already done that. Let's go here. It got public IP. It's in running. Let us say connect. If you look here, there is no details about. This is instance ID, IPv6. Platform is Linux or Unix since it's Ubuntu. Okay, let's say connect. Let's try to SSH. Okay, let's try. Go to EC2 instances. Let us look into the security group. 22 TCP is there. Let's try to connect using the AWS CLI. I need to copy the key pair here. So let's go here to this instance state, start instance. Instance state is pending. So this is the instance anyway, we know this. So this instance is coming from this AMI. And this AMI, this is import AMI, OC1A90. And we can connect to this instance and start working. So this is our on-prem server or on-prem virtual machine, which we have migrated to AWS. Let's go and check instance. See, this is the AMI. Import AMI 01. This is the AMI and this is the AMI ID. And this is the key pair. As public IP address. Let's go and try to connect from this instance to this instance. Let's say connect. Mumbai key pair. The login as root user. And then we have this. Now let's SSH. Say connect. And then SSH into this one. Just connection refused. Instance. Anyway, we can we can change its settings. But prepare. Let's go to security. It has TCP connection. SSH. SSH rule is there. Save routes. Instances. It has to connect networking. I already tried this. It will connect. Maybe it takes some time. Just now we have migrated this instance. It takes some time, but it will connect. Okay. So try this. Follow the documentation. So this is related to server migration, and we have other migration services in AWS. Let's go to services and then migration and transfer. The one which we have used is server migration service. So let's say get started to migrate from on-prem server. So what all I have done now, you can do it here. Download OVA environment. See server migration connector setup. So download this for Azure environment, PowerShell setup script. So all these things. So using this, also it suppose Azure connector, you can migrate your servers into AWS. And database migration services for databases. Create replica instance and you can change from say for example MySQL to Amazon Aurora, or if you can bring on-prem database to here. And then we have these storage gateways. Storage gateway, AWS backup. Again, in storage gateway, create a gateway. See, you have 4 types of gateways: file gateway, FSX file gateway, volume gateway, tape gateway. So FSX is a like Windows file server, Windows file system. It is like Elastic file system we talked about. It is for Linux instances, and FSX is for Windows. So Windows file server. So this Windows file server can be shared with multiple Windows clients. So this kind of gateway is available. Amazon S3 file gateway, files in Amazon S3, or files in your local laptop, you can cache in Amazon S3. Volume gateway, EBS gateway, and then tape gateway. So this is Amazon S3 archive. This is a gateway into S3 Glacier. So this is also migration, migrating from your local organization to S3 using gateways. clear? Any doubts? Okay, then. This is our last class. We already talked about how to book exam and all. Please go through it. Go through the assignments. If you have any doubts, you can uh, message me in WhatsApp or send me email. Right, do labs as soon as possible, and also go through white papers as well as exam question papers are available in our LMS also. Okay, then. Bye. Good luck.